mine, Mr. P. And I don't have as many questions as I do. Thank him for the work that he does through an organization here in Lawrence with Labor, Heal Lawrence, and what you do on Earth Day and all throughout the year at Jake's Pond, and for your past service to the Neighborhood Association. With that said, the question comes to this one: why do you want to be able to go registrars in the state of Lawrence?
Well, for quite a while, I've believed in the sanctity of the election process, and my many years of old hearing in the back of my head, voter fraud, I just said it's impossible. And working on many campaigns and the recalls in Lawrence, I worked intensely with the voter list, repeatedly year after year. And I questioned the validity of it. And I feel that I want to find ways to actually bring back some trust to the election department in the city of Lawrence, because what we have is not just exclusive to Lawrence. I'm not bad-mouthing the election process here, but I want to learn more about it. I want to make sure that it's fair and that the people in the city can trust it. And I'll find every way I can that if someone comes to me with a question, I'll get them an answer and find ways to solve problems if we do unearth them.
Thank you for that answer, Hayes. Madam Chair, can I have a follow-up?
Yes.
What do you think we can do as a city to do elections better, considering the physical constraints we have, the multiple polling locations that we have, and some of the barriers we have as far as election officials? I think we were either short on election day, or I know we were looking for how can you, when the voter register, how can you implement some of these things that you want?
I have this knack with procedures and checks and balance and so forth. Working with an Excel file, 37,000 plus names and all the lines of information that go with it. This is what I do in my job at work. And I look to find the problems, the inconsistencies, and bring them to light. As for the election process, I believe it starts from the registration. And if we can verify as best we can what we already have and find ways we can get the state and the federal government to make voter registration a much more precise system, our work would be done.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for pointing out. To apologize to the subcommittee for arriving late. I had a mishandling.
That's okay.
I do have Mr. Case. Thank you very much for deciding to apply for this position, which is critical in the city of Lawrence. The Board of Registers is one of the hardest working boards, and I appreciate you submitting the application. Simply out of fairness, I read your application. There were 3 questions.
Sure.
4 questions that were not answered. So I'm just going to ask the questions.
Can I just, Madam Chair, can I just point out this? When Mr. Hayes initially sent his application in, the only was changed, and I did the same day, whatever that was like, not on the 15th, so the Thursday was like the 10th. I did send it out of the clerk that same day, and I emailed it to all of you also, and I have extra copies with the second page children, so I apologize for that. We were just trying to meet that in-time deadline, but I did have to get back by that time, but I'll get it to you right now.
I appreciate it.
But if you want to ask questions, go ahead.
Sure. No, so one of the questions is, why didn't I remember of this particular board? There are several boards in the city that often have boards. What's the particular board?
Let's get the answer.
This is the one that I have the most passion for. This is the one that I feel is part of a major problem, like I say, not just for Lawrence. And I want to find ways to make it better. And in the many years I've been dealing with elections and recalls, people refer to the office as a joke. And that shouldn't be. So I would either want to dispel the rumors or find the issues and find ways to correct them.
And what do you think are the priorities for the most important issues as a community face today? And more specifically, this board. This board has faced numerous recalls in the last couple of years. What experience, expertise do you think you bring to the table to ensure that, if we were to experience this process like that in the future, it will be a smooth, transparent process on both sides for the petitioners and for whoever will be the recipient.
As a participant in 2 of the recalls, I feel the communication from the registrar of boards to the people who are applying or submitting recalls, the communication was not clear, and I, being involved in it, do not trust it. And that's distrust is what I'm trying to dispel in this city, so the citizens don't have to be ridiculed for challenging someone. If there's a process, just do the process. Let's take the drama and the emotion out of it, because it just divides the city. And like I say, I was part of 2 of the recalls, and I had discussed with the Board of Registrars in the city at that time. And I just sat back and I wait for the day that I can get the facts or find a way to process it, and this is what I've been trying to do with joining this board.
Wonderful. Madam Chair, I will go back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Hayes, there were very good questions here on both sides. I'm just picking up on the same conversation that you were having with Council President. So you were involved in 2 of the recalls. Can you explain which those
Yes.
were and what you thought of the process? And
Certainly. I was involved with the first was an Antigua recall and the Uniting Lawrence one that was after that. Basically, my job was logistics and working. I checked every name of signature we got against the voter list before they were submitted. And they disqualified so many numbers that brought us under. And as we were about to challenge it, we were working round the clock. I had about 40 people on a weekend. We were going to get affidavits for everyone they challenged. And it came to our attention that Mayor Antigua had submitted a letter of challenges to the Board of Registrars. They never gave it to us at that meeting. And as we're working, I myself thought nothing of this letter. I didn't know of it, or what it contained, rather. And we brought it down from the Eagle Tribune's website and realized that one of his challenges was the city clerk did not sign and date the affidavits, the recall petitions, as required by his position. And I told everybody, stop there, we have useless pieces of paper. And when we came in to challenge that, we were told the will of the people is superseding any administrative errors. That's where I have distrust of this whole process. That led to more emotion, more division. Never mind the issue, it just caused more of a rift. And that's what I want to see resolved. There was no communication with the board to us. It was like, no. There has to be communication and clarification. When we started it, I called the Secretary of State's office and said, what is the process that we have to follow? City clerk will tell you what to do. And Maloney said, trust me, I'll take care of it. And that's where I have my problems with the process. And I'd like to have this clarified, not only the recall I was on, but the one we just had. There's too much of a gray area that I don't think should exist. If it does, then let me at least tell people it exists and find ways to clarify it.
so from the first recall that you worked, which would have been on the previous administration, to the recall that so you worked on 2, previous administration and this administration?
No, there were 2 against previous administration.
2 against the previous administration, not with this one. Because we've had, down in the elections office, like, since then, we've had a revamping of the whole system downstairs. So therefore, because of those gripes and because of those gray areas that you're speaking about, we had it revamped. Well, that's the reasons that were given to us as to why things needed to be done the way that they were done in the elections department downstairs. You do know that we're in the process of, or we're in the midst of, or another recall. They have not appealed in the sense, but we're still very fresh in that moment, because that can come down or happen at any day from either side.
Yes.
So with that being said, how do you feel about what's happening? Do you feel that there are still gray areas in the process that is happening now, and that's why you want to get involved? Because I heard you clearly say about the gray areas that were there before,
Yes.
but I'm thinking that the administration has already revamped the system to where there should be those areas, and because that's the reason it was given for what they did, for what was done. So I'm thinking, what do you think should be strategized, or what are your reasons for thinking, you know, I could be of use here for these reasons?
My first thing would be to question the names that were and were not accepted. That would be the first initial, item to find out and understand there. And also speak with the current board and the petitioners what other issues that I'm not aware of that would exist, and look into them immediately. For my education and being part of the process.
I have a question